Every World Cup has a script. The favorites are named before a ball is kicked. The same 6 or 7 nations get circled in every prediction: Argentina, France, Spain, Brazil, England, Germany. The usual suspects. The ones the bookmakers trust and the pundits agree on. And then the tournament starts, and someone tears up the script. It happened in 2002, when South Korea reached the semi-finals. It happened in 2010, when Ghana came within inches of becoming Africa's first-ever World Cup semi-finalist. It happened in 2022, when Morocco beat Spain and Portugal and walked into the Final Four as the greatest underdog story the tournament had ever seen. It always happens. And it's going to happen again in 2026. Today we're looking at the 5 teams that have the genuine ability to shock this tournament. Not on luck, not on a good day, but on real quality, real preparation, and real reasons to believe they can go deep into this bracket. These are the teams the favorites do not want to face. These are the dark horses that could crush World Cup 2026. Let's start with the one that might be the most dangerous of all. Norway haven't been at a World Cup since 1998, 28 years. An entire generation of Norwegian football fans has never seen their country play on the biggest stage. And then Erling Haaland happened, and everything changed. In qualifying, Norway were extraordinary. 8 matches, 8 wins, 37 goals scored, 9 more than any other team in European qualification. 5 conceded across the entire campaign. They beat Italy 4-1, away in Milan, a team ranked in the top 10 in the world, demolished by a nation returning to the World Cup stage for the first time in nearly 3 decades. Haaland scored 16 goals in those 8 qualifying matches. 16. That number doesn't look like a typo. It looks like a warning. He has scored 55 goals in 48 appearances for his country across his entire international career. And this, the 2026 World Cup, is his first major international tournament. He has never played at a World Cup before. He has never had this stage. And the hunger to make it count is something you can feel in every interview, every training clip, every piece of Norwegian football coverage between now and June 11th. But here's what people get wrong about Norway. They say it's Haaland and 10 passengers. The reality is more interesting than that. Martin Odegaard, the Arsenal captain, is one of the most creative and intelligent midfielders at this entire tournament. He sees passes other players don't know exist. Alexander Sorloth, who has been outstanding in La Liga, gives Norway a second striker option of genuine quality. Jorgen Strand Larsen adds yet another goal threat. Antonio Nusa provides pace and width on the counter. Sander Berge and Patrick Berg give them defensive cover in midfield that lets Odegaard operate freely. This is not a one-man team. It is a complete team with a once-in-a-generation centre-forward at the tip of it. Their group is brutal. Group I gives them France, Senegal, and Iraq. France are one of the tournament favorites. Senegal are reigning African champions. Analysts are already calling this the group of death, and Norway are in it. But sometimes inexperience is the most dangerous thing in football. Teams with nothing to lose and everything to prove are the ones that tear up systems and upset giants. If Norway survive Group I, very few sides in this bracket will want to face Haaland in a knockout match. When the pressure is highest and one goal can change everything, that's exactly when a player like him becomes unstoppable. Norway are the most dangerous dark horse in this tournament. Bet on it. Now let's talk about the team that proved the world wrong 3 years ago, and is now angry that everyone's already moved on. Morocco. In Qatar 2022, Morocco did something that had never been done before in the history of the World Cup. They became the first African and first Arab nation to reach the semi-finals of the tournament. They beat Spain on penalties. They beat Portugal, one of the greatest attacking sides in the world, 1-0, with a header from a centre-back that echoed across an entire continent. They were organized, relentless, and tactically perfect. Coach Walid Regragui built a system nobody could break, and Morocco became the greatest underdog story in modern World Cup history. And now the expectation has arrived. That's what makes this interesting, because the squad that produced 2022 hasn't aged into decline. It has matured into depth. Achraf Hakimi at right-back is still ranked as the #1 right-back in the world by 442. His pace, his crossing, his ability to create danger from wide areas while still tracking back defensively. He is a complete fullback at the absolute peak of his powers. Yassine Bounou remains one of the most reliable and composed goalkeepers in international football. Sofiane Amrabat in midfield brings the same suffocating defensive intensity that made Spain's and Portugal's attacks look average in Qatar. Brahim Diaz provides creativity in tight spaces. Noussair Mazraoui adds quality and versatility across the backline. Bilal El Khanis is one of the most exciting young midfield talents in European football right now. There's a coaching change worth noting. Regragui left the job in March, just months before the tournament, and a new coach has since taken over. That's an unsettled situation, and it's the main reason to be cautious about Morocco's prospects. A new coach, a new structure, 3 months before the World Cup, is not ideal preparation. The preliminary squad, named just yesterday, doesn't yet include Hakimi, though the expectation is that he'll be named in the final 26. But the tactical identity Regragui built is embedded in these players. Low block, quick transitions, collective defending, set-piece danger. That system doesn't disappear when a coach changes. It lives in the muscle memory of players who have drilled it together for years. And the psychological shift that 2022 created is permanent. Morocco no longer arrive at tournaments fearing the bigger nations. They've already beaten them. That knowledge doesn't expire. Morocco are in Group C with Brazil, Scotland, and Haiti. They have a realistic path to the knockout rounds, and once they're in that bracket, the 2022 run tells you exactly what they're capable of. The Atlas Lions are coming, and they know how to make giants uncomfortable. Number 3, and this is a team the rest of the world still underestimates, despite the evidence stacked right in front of them. Japan. Here's the thing about Japan at a World Cup. The football world tends to respect them in a polite, slightly condescending way. They're well organized, people say. They work hard. Good group stage team. Then Japan beat Germany and Spain in the same group at Qatar 2022. And people acted shocked. They shouldn't have been. Japan told them exactly who they were. Japan were the first nation in the entire world to qualify for the 2026 World Cup. Not the first Asian nation, the first nation anywhere on Earth. They topped their qualifying group with 7 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss across 10 matches, scoring 30 goals. They beat Bahrain 2-0 on March 20, 2025, sealed their spot, and went home to prepare. While everyone else was still fighting for qualification, Japan were already in the gym. Now look at the squad. 6 players from the Bundesliga, one of the top 2 leagues in world football for tactical intensity and defensive quality. 3 Premier League players. Hiroki Ito from Bayern Munich in defense. Ritsu Doan from Eintracht Frankfurt on the wing, the same Ritsu Doan who scored the equalizing goals against both Germany and Spain off the bench in Qatar 2022. Wataru Endo captaining from Liverpool. Takahiro Tomiyasu from Arsenal. Daichi Kamada from Crystal Palace. Takafusa Kubo from Real Sociedad, who has been one of the most exciting wingers in La Liga this season. This is the most globally dispersed squad Japan have ever assembled. 6 Bundesliga starters, 3 Premier League players, and only 3 J-League players in a whole group. The average age is 27, experienced enough for the biggest moments, not yet past peak. And unlike in 2022, when Japan's run felt like a surprise, this squad carries genuine tournament belief. They've done it before. The round of 16 exit on penalties against Croatia was painful, but what it proved was that Japan could live with the best teams in the world for 90 minutes. Their group puts them with the Netherlands, Sweden, and Tunisia. The Netherlands are a top 8 side at this tournament. Japan beating them would be the moment that shifts the entire narrative of the group stage, and based on what Japan showed against Germany and Spain 3 years ago, it is not an impossible ask. Japan's tactical discipline, their high press, and their ability to absorb pressure and hit on the counter make them exactly the kind of team that organized European sides struggle to handle. Japan's mission in 2026 is to break their round of 16 curse. Every Japan fan knows it. Every analyst who covers Asian football knows it. Japan have reached the last 16 at 3 consecutive tournaments and gone out on penalties each time. In 2026, they want to go further, and the squad they've brought to do it is the best in their history. If you're building a bracket and looking for where the chaos comes from, write Japan in ink. Number 4, and this story has a personal dimension that makes it one of the most emotionally loaded dark horse cases in the entire tournament. Egypt and Mohamed Salah. Salah is 33 years old. He has been the finest African footballer of his generation, arguably one of the 5 best players in the world for the past 8 years. He has scored 67 goals in 115 appearances for Egypt. He has won the Premier League, the Champions League, been nominated for the Ballon d'Or, scored in the biggest moments across European football, and he has never played at a World Cup in his prime. Egypt failed to qualify in 2022. The pain of that was enormous. This is his tournament. This is the one he's been waiting for. The squad announced 2 days ago, on May 20th, named Salah as captain. He'll be joined in attack by Omar Marmoush, who has had an extraordinary season at Manchester City, and an uncapped 18-year-old from Barcelona's youth ranks named Hamza Abdul Karim, whose inclusion has generated real excitement in Egyptian football. Coach Hossam Hassan has built a squad that mixes experienced internationals with emerging talent. Egypt will play a friendly against Brazil in Cleveland on June 6, 5 days before the tournament starts, as their final preparation test. Egypt's group is Group G, alongside Belgium, New Zealand, and Iran. Belgium are strong and likely to top the group, but the battle for second place between Egypt and Iran is one of the most intriguing secondary storylines of the entire group stage. Egypt sit 8 spots below Iran in the FIFA rankings, but Iran's off-pitch situation and the uncertainty surrounding their preparation make their actual readiness genuinely hard to assess. Egypt, by contrast, have had a clean, focused build-up. Their domestic preparations are in order. Here's what makes Egypt dangerous beyond Salah. Omar Marmoush had a stunning season at Manchester City, one of the best clubs in the world, a powerful, direct forward with a real eye for goal and the ability to create from wide positions. Egypt also reached the Africa Cup of Nations semi-finals earlier this year, which means this squad has recent major tournament experience together, under pressure, with real stakes. They lost to Senegal in that semi-final, but they know how to compete at this level. No Egyptian side has ever reached a knockout round of the World Cup, not once in their entire history in the tournament. This team, with this captain, in this moment, has the best chance Egyptian football has ever had to change that record. For Salah personally, the motivation is total. This is almost certainly his last World Cup. He's made no secret of his desire to leave a legacy that matches everything he's achieved at club level. And a player driven by that kind of personal purpose, on the biggest stage in football, is one of the most dangerous forces the sport produces. Egypt won't win the World Cup, but they can cause serious damage in Group G. And if Salah finds form at this tournament, with this stage, on this mission, the entire group stage narrative could shift. And finally, number 5, the team that has everything it needs except the belief that the rest of the world takes them seriously. Senegal. This is a reigning Africa Cup of Nations contender. This is a squad that includes Kalidou Koulibaly, one of the most commanding central defenders in international football. Idrissa Gueye, a consistent force in European midfield for a decade. Pape Matar Sarr, only 22 years old and already one of the most technically complete midfielders in the Premier League. Nicholas Jackson, who finished as one of Chelsea's most important attacking players this season. Ismaila Sarr, whose pace and directness make him one of the most dangerous wide forwards in international football. And Sadio Mane leading the whole thing, still an elite attacker, still a player who raises his level when the occasion demands it. Senegal have been here before. They reached the quarterfinal at their very first World Cup, in 2002, and came within a game of the semi-finals in their tournament debut. They reached the round of 16 in 2022 before losing to England. They have the institutional knowledge, the tournament experience, and the tactical structure to go deep. Their group, Group I, has France and Norway in it. That is a brutal draw. But Senegal beat Egypt in the recent Africa Cup of Nations campaign to reach the final, which tells you everything about their ability to grind out results in high-pressure knockout situations. They are organized at the back, creative in midfield, and direct and dangerous in attack. Their head-to-head with Norway on June 22 is one of the most anticipated group stage matches of the entire tournament, because whoever wins it is almost certainly advancing. If Senegal get through Group I, and it will take 2 excellent results, they will enter the knockout rounds with a squad that fears no one. They've beaten big nations before. They know what it takes. And in a 48-team World Cup, where the expanded bracket creates more routes through the knockout stages, a side with Senegal's quality and organization is exactly the kind of team that can take advantage. The group stage draw was tough. The road is hard. But Senegal don't need a soft draw. They've never needed one. So those are the 5. Norway and the Holland factor. Morocco and the hunger to prove 2022 wasn't a one-off. Japan and the most European squad in their history. Egypt and Salah's last chance at World Cup glory. And Senegal, with the quiet confidence of a team that knows exactly what it's capable of. The World Cup always has a story nobody wrote in advance. One of these 5 teams is going to write it this summer. The favorites will be watching, and at least one of them won't like what they see. So here's my question for you. Out of these 5, which one do you think goes the furthest? Which team is going to be the story of the 2026 World Cup? Drop your pick in the comments. Norway, Morocco, Japan, Egypt, or Senegal, and tell me why. I read every one. If this gave you something to argue about, hit like. And follow along for every one of these teams, from the group stage all the way to that final on July 19th. Every match. Every shock. Every moment that makes football the greatest sport on earth. 20 days to go. The dark horses are ready. See you in the next one.